Good morning, everyone, and happy Thursday. It is October 19th. My name is Joanne. I am the Director of Marketing here at Legendary Marketer, and I am at the Mastermind House. I'm in a new location today. I'm super pumped. We've been doing setup since early this morning. More today. People start coming in this afternoon, and then we kick off this amazing event in this absolutely beautiful home. It feels like a little boutique hotel and not a home, quite honestly. We kick that off tomorrow. So we will actually, Wake Up Legendary will be live from Mastermind tomorrow morning. So you do not want to miss any of that. So be sure to hop on live with us tomorrow. If you want a text reminder of every time we go live here in the morning at 10 a.m. Eastern, you can text the letters WUL to 813-296-8553. We will send you an alert. It's usually within a couple minutes of hopping on live to join us here. Hop in the comments, all that good stuff. And if you sign up right now, you'll get that alert for tomorrow's episode from Mastermind so you don't miss it. All right, without further ado, it's not often these days we have a gentleman join us because we got a lot of amazing females in our community. But please welcome Chris to the show. Good morning, Chris. How are you today?
Good morning. Doing well. How are you?
I'm doing well as well. So where are you joining us from in the world?
I am at my packaging warehouse right now over in West Sacramento, California.
Okay, sweet. I love it. So it's nice and early for you. That's normally my time zone, but now I'm later today being in Florida. Well, thank you for getting up early and joining us today.
Of course, yeah, I'm an early person, so this is normal for me.
So it works out. And I love that you're able to take a little break, at least while on the job, to join us this morning. So you're good there. All right, awesome. Share with all of us, what were you looking for? How did you find Legendary? Were you searching us out or did we fall into your lap? Give us the backstory there.
Fell into my lap. So earlier this year in February, I came across a reel that caught my interest about making money online. And I thought nothing of it, but I was interested enough to follow this individual. And I kept seeing her content pop up more and more and more. And eventually I got interested enough to go through, the course and get the blueprints. And it took me 2 months to make that decision.
I really appreciate you sharing that. So there's been a journey involved here. You've taken some time. You've been thoughtful. You kind of sat on it. What do you think was your biggest holdup?
The first part was just not necessarily believing that it was real. Mm-hmm. So that's why I kind of just followed and sat back. But then as I started to see the growth trend and the results pour in with it, that's when I started to become a believer. And that's when I started to have conversations with my girlfriend about hey, I'm looking into this. But yeah, it took me 2 months to finally start going through the motions.
To spend the $7, or did you buy it and then sit on it?
No, I as soon as I went in for the 15-day challenge, I was all in. I had already decided
everything. Yeah. There's a lot that really wait and want to watch. And I think as a marketer, we have to remember that most of us kind of waited. We saw content. We started watching somebody else's journey, seeing if this is real. And then when we make the switch and we start producing our own content, we're no longer the consumer. We're now the creator. We want quick action by everyone that ever sees our video, immediately, when we ourselves probably didn't take that fast action. And that's where consistency comes into play and making sure you keep showing up for that audience. Because if that affiliate had stopped at any point, they would have not finally made that connection when you were ready.
Yep.
And been there. You would have found someone else instead, which I think it's so important why consistency and to just keep going is so key.
Yeah, even this early in my digital marketing career, I have people who will reach out and they'll ask me questions, and I can tell their curiosity is piqued. But I'm a very no pressure type of person. I'm just here to talk to you, help you out if you want it, and I can almost tell that at some point they'll be back to discuss further. But I see their likes pop up on my reels. I see their comments pop up and stuff. So it's like, I know that if I keep going, then things will happen.
Right. And because that's really what happened with you.
That's exactly what happened with me.
Which I think is great. What do you feel like was your biggest struggle when you were starting?
I get caught in the same view scares that a lot of other people get caught in, and you'll see them pop up on the legendary Facebook help, where they're like, oh, I've been posting for 15, 30, 45 days straight, and I'm still hovering at 200 views. At the beginning, I can understand what they're saying, because I was doing the same exact thing. It's like, why am I not getting more views? Why am I not getting more followers?
What helped you get out of that mindset? Because you were already deciding, oh, I'm not doing it. It's not successful. I have low views. But it's like, could you imagine 200 people in a room?
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. Like, you're still doing something. There's little wins. So how did you flip your mindset shift?
Yeah. So I let my mind focus on the quality of the content I was putting out, and I just I thought the rest would fall into place if I was posting quality content. Mm-hmm. That was my thought process. Because if I could look at my content and compare the quality to someone who's already a successful digital marketer's content, then I know that if I continued making quality content, then the rest would fall into place with it.
Yeah, quality content. That is the key. So in your eyes, describe for all of us, what is quality content to you and to your audience?
Quality content, outside of the entertaining, educating, valuable content, I wanted to make sure that my content looked as good as it could, that it sounded as good as it could, that when the finished product was done, that I was confident in what I was putting out. Like, everything from the energy levels that I was putting, like how much am I smiling in my videos, or am I being too robotic? Those were all things that had crossed my mind, because I had never done anything like this before. So everything, the first time I ever posted a reel on Instagram was for digital marketing. I never posted a reel socially for anyone to see before. So my first reel was very much so practice for me.
Was it hard to post that first one? Did you struggle with it, or was you just made it and you're like, I'm doing it, I don't care, I'm posting this bad boy?
I had set a launch date in my head where I was like, okay, all my systems are in place, I'm ready to go. So I knew the exact day that I was going to film and post content. But for me, the beginning, it just, not only was my quality, I didn't feel it was up to par. It took me forever to film a reel, because I knew nothing. I didn't know how to do text. I didn't know how to do audio. I didn't know anything about posting reels. So it took me to film 3 reels, probably took me hours.
Right. And that's okay. And you kept going. And how long does it take you now?
5 minutes, maybe.
Exactly.
But I land on first take, and it's good to go after that.
Right. It's actually something that's learned. You get better at it.
Mhm.
But in the beginning, there's a lot that feels heavy, right?
Yeah.
It's, oh, I got to learn the tech and my funnel, and then I got to edit a video, and what about the sound and the lighting? And there's just so many thoughts that could, if our mindset's in the wrong place, cause us to freeze, to stop taking action, and for some of us to quit. But if you can remember the bigger picture, like, this is going to get easier. I just got to keep going. I just got to hit post. It's going to get better. I'm going to be quicker to edit. I'm going to have more. My funnel will be fine. Everything will be fine if you just keep going. It's huge. What do you think contributed to you being able to just ignore any self-doubt and keep going? Because there's so many people stuck in self-doubt right now, and they're not taking action, and they're trying to figure out what's the secret sauce. What's a tip that helped you that maybe could help someone else get out of that overwhelmed, stuck, frozen feeling?
Yeah, I would say that my personal secret sauce was that I always was looking for knowledge and to learn something new. So if there was something that I didn't like that I was doing, I was reaching out to fellow affiliate marketers. I was on YouTube. I was on Google. I was seeking out as much information as I possibly could, at all times of the day. So the times of my day that I used to spend on my phone mindlessly scrolling on Instagram and Facebook and those became my learning periods where I would go on other affiliate marketers pages and see what they're doing better than I am, and where can I improve, and would this person, if I reach out to this person, would they be willing to give me a tip or two? I became like super student. I was on the treadmill at the gym, and I would put on YouTube, Instagram growth videos of people just throwing out tips, and I would just walk for 10 minutes and listen to the video and pick up what I could and see how I could apply it to my content, see what works, what didn't work for me.
Guys, this is so good. And I hope everyone, like, take notes. Basically, what Chris is sharing with all of us is he flipped a switch. I'm not going to be the consumer. I'm not going to be the zombie scroller anymore. He put on his marketing shades, and if he was online, if you weren't posting, you were learning. And why did this person post that video? What was their strategy? What's the strategy of this channel? Why is this video performing? And it wasn't trying to copy word for word or anything like that. He was looking at what's the strategy behind it. And that's what you were looking at more, and modeling, so to speak, which I love. And people get really confused when we say model. It doesn't mean go and be like a cookie cutter and not understand the purpose or the strategy behind someone else's video that's doing well. It's really diving in. What's the actual strategy? What's their purpose? Who are they trying to reach? And then how can I make tweaks and model the strategy, but use my voice, my personality, and something that matches my own audience?
Yep.
And that's such a huge piece, that it's not just, I'm going to just mindlessly throw spaghetti at a wall and copy this person, this video, that video, and hope it works out for me. But it's actually building purpose behind what you put out there.
Yep,
So,
exactly.
Yeah, that's huge. That's huge. And it's a piece that people kind of like to skip almost. But learning is so important. Learning is crucial, and to keep learning. I was just talking about this with Dave the other night. The day you stop learning is the day you die. Right? That's when everything goes to pot. Is if you're not, putting yourself out there, you're not focused on growth and continued growth. You're stuck. And when you're stuck, nothing can move. Nothing is really flowing good. So even if you're doing a little bit each day, that's still progress. You're still ahead of where you were the day before.
Yep. And
So how do you, what
sorry,
was that?
I was
You,
going to say, when you come across the famous, millionaires who have social medias and are willing to like share their insights,
Mhm.
a lot of them will preach you should be seeking out to learn a new skill like every year. You should be like adding something new to what you have going on, something that complements what you already have something going on, but something that'll grow you beyond where you are already.
Absolutely. And reading and just consuming that information that will make your content better, your business better, your knowledge better, to add more value into what you're putting out there, and to add more value for your community that you're growing.
Mm-hmm. And I realized how much dead time during the day I actually have, because at my work alone, if I were just to spend the extra time I have at work learning, I have three 15-minute breaks, and I have a 30-minute lunch. So right there, I have an hour and 15 minutes to be able to learn something. And that's actually how I was able to knock out most of the 15-day challenge when I was going through it. Is because I work 10-hour days, but on my breaks, every time I would get on break, I would heat up my food, sit down, lift up my laptop, and get into the 15-day challenge and learn. And now it's
That is huge. That is absolutely huge, because there's a lot of people in our community saying, I don't have time. I got a full-time job. I have a kid. I have a partner. You have all those things. And it's just deciding what you do with the time you have. If it's 20 minutes in the morning, if it's 30 minutes, instead of watching a little bit too much Netflix, switch where your focus is going to be. That takes a commitment. That takes a commitment to yourself and to your future. Have you always had that mindset where you're determined, like, this is what I'm going to do no matter what? Is that something you had to learn and get better at when you started this?
I whenever I set goals, I go after them pretty hard.
Mm-hmm.
But I think when I started this journey, I think my girlfriend could tell that this was something new. Like because when we were having the back and forth discussions on whether to invest or not, like how should we go about this, there was definitely some like hesitance.
Right.
But I think she's seen how all in I am with this, and so now she's much more on board than she was in the beginning.
Everybody gets on board once there's some money hitting the bank account. Let's be real.
But yeah, there's especially after you break out. For me, that first rough period of this business was the first 2 months. Was I could not break out of 400 followers. I was under 400 followers for the longest. It felt like forever. When you look at 4 months of my life, I'm like, oh, it's not that far.
Right.
I was like, am I ever gonna get over 400 followers? and then finally, one of my reels kind of popped off a little bit. Next thing you know, there's tens of thousands of views and hundreds of thousands of views. And it's funny because the same reel that finally put me over 1,000 followers on Instagram just recently started going viral again 2 days ago for some reason.
I love that.
So it's second wind, and I have no idea why. But all of a sudden, I started getting, likes and the comments, call to action and stuff, and I was like, all right, I'll take it.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, that happens on all platforms. That's when I'm like, don't remove videos. Don't let them do their thing. Let them hit the algorithm as the algorithm adjusts. It's going to pull videos from the past. It does it quite often, actually. You'd be surprised. But man, it's just that commitment to yourself to keep going. And I love that you brought up your partner. And some people don't even share with their significant others that they're going down this path, they're hiding it, but you were very transparent. You had discussions. What were some of the things that the both of you, like your pros and cons that you weighed in that decision process?
She a lot of her hesitancy was because she did an MLM for about 6 months and didn't see so much success with it, even though I thought she did very well at it.
Mm-hmm.
And so in her mind, what this was and what that was were the same thing. And she's like, well, if this is what happened for me in 6 months, then what do you think's going to happen with you, type thing. She was comparing to. I was the one who was like, it's different.
Right. It is different. We're not a business opportunity. We're not here to teach you how to just turn around and sell. It's really a place of education and deeply learning a ton of amazing skills that you can use anywhere online in any path you want to take, in any niche that you love, with any audience that you're excited to connect with. And that's what's really cool. So I love that even though she had some concerns, some worries, there was still obviously some type of mutual agreement that you're like, I feel strongly about this, that I want to try it. I want to learn. Just allow me the space to learn. And obviously that went okay. Or was there still some stress in that process?
I would say it went okay. There's anytime you invest in anything, I feel like there's some stress involved.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that I was using so much of what used to be pointless time out of my day to do it, it wasn't really affecting my at-home life too much, and it wasn't really affecting my work either. It was just me, taking the time on my breaks, the time on my lunch. If our son was sleeping in the morning and I woke up before them, I would have my laptop out. Whenever he took a nap, if he went to bed early, then it was just me like finding ways to do it and not like impeding it on our lifestyle.
Wow. You are just an amazing example of time management. Let me tell you, you need to come and this is what you're going to do. And you're going to commit to yourself. That's such a struggle for us to really prioritize our own goals first above anything else. Because that's really what needs to happen when you want to stick to a new schedule, a new routine, committing to learning the skills instead of scrolling aimlessly, putting in the extra time to edit, put content out, engage with your community instead of watching Netflix at night when you're feeling tired. It's every day deciding over and over and over that I'm worthy to prioritize myself, my goals, and where this could take me and my family in the future, which is huge, absolutely huge. And that's a really big struggle. So I think if anyone is ever struggling with time management, come back to this episode for sure. What would you say to yourself, like knowing everything you know now, what would you say to yourself at the start of this journey? Like, what do you wish you could have inform your earlier version of you at the beginning of this journey that you know now?
I wish I would have started sooner. I wish I would have found it in 2022.
That is pretty much what everyone says, which is really interesting to me. It's intriguing that even though you shared, I had a few months of struggle. I had a few months of self-doubt, but I kept going. And even looking back now, you go, dang, I wish I would have started it sooner. I wish I started learning sooner, building a community sooner. That's huge. But our journey is our journey, right?
No complaints. I'm happy I took the chance.
So where are things with your partner now? You shared that she's, it's definitely going a little bit easier. Is she joining you? Is it just still you? Do you have her in
Oh,
content? Is she
I
filming?
think she should do this because she'd be better at it than I am. More photo. Um, she's just very supportive at the moment. You know,
Mhm.
she knows what I'm doing. She's seen, I kind of have like a routine with it now. So she knows, when I'm doing things, why I'm doing things.
Mhm.
And yeah.
Yeah, and it sounds like even with your routine, part of your routine is still having time where you prioritize her, your son, correct? You have a son?
Yep. 3 years old.
Yep. 3 years old. I love that age. um, and that's the other flip side is sometimes I have conversations with students and they're all gung-ho and they're so far in and they don't have spouse buy-in, but they're also not giving them the same time that they used to. Everything is being filled. So there's always that level of balance that has to happen as well.
Hmm.
And it's just making sure communication is key and going, okay, right now I need this time to work on my business, to work on my education. But at this time, it's going to be all about you and I, our family. Let's have dinner together, and having that communication, I think, is just key and so important when with anybody that's growing a new business and learning new skills and launching, because it takes up a lot of mind energy too, for sure.
I make sure before I go into the weekends because she works Monday through Friday, and I work Monday through Thursday. So I make sure on Friday that I have all my content planned out for Saturday, Sunday, so that when Saturday and Sunday come around and we have a bulk of our family plans, it's just me remembering to post, and not
Right.
like taking time out of the day to film anything. That's the routine right now.
I
What's
love it. Routine is key. Guys, everybody make it a routine. Get it into a habit. And it's hard. It's like going and starting to work out at the gym again. But the only way it's going to be successful, the only way you're going to see real change, the only way you're going to see real results and start reaching goals is if you make it a part of your daily routine. And you have to force it at the beginning. It's tricky, it's hard, and all of that.
Yeah. I have
So I
alarms on my phone. That
Oh.
my reels. The alarm will go off in like I have a morning time and then an evening time, and so when the alarm goes off, I'm like, oh, I gotta share this real quick. That's,
But you're committed to it,
oh yeah,
right? It's like, oh, the alarm went. This is the only option. This is what I have to do right now. I'm going to post it, and then next. You have like you set up dates and commitments for yourself each day, and you're sticking to it. And that's what is key here. That's key all day long. If you know you're going to forget, if you know you're going to get busy and distracted, set alarms through the day. That's such a great little tidbit, Chris, that I know a lot of people need to hear. And that it's okay to do that. Create the habit so it becomes more natural later on. Force the habit, set the alarms, plan out your day, and schedule in your success ultimately.
yep.
For sure, which I think is cool. So I know you're on Instagram. Have you tried? Are you showing up on other platforms? Do you have a favorite? Do you have a platform you hate? Give us all the details of that process for you.
So Instagram is the one that I decided to go after. At first, I tried to do Instagram and TikTok and repurpose the content for each one. And that became a little overwhelming for me in the beginning because, like I said, I didn't even know how to post a reel. So, so
Right.
by trying to post a reel on TikTok, it was too much. Um, I would like to branch out into TikTok more. Sometimes I'll create content over there for the purpose of bringing it over to Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
The It's funny, the first reel that I ever had go viral was on Facebook, and that's only because when I shared the reel on Instagram, it gives me the option to also share it to my Facebook, and I said yes. So that's my first reel. Was it went I went on Facebook before it ever went on Instagram.
Oh, that's interesting, because most people actually see a decline in views when they have those accounts linked to cross post for them. And see, it doesn't matter. Just test it and see what works, right? What works for your account. And for Chris, you did a cross post between Facebook and Instagram and it totally took off. That's awesome. I love that. And that's where it comes back to, just test, guys. That's the thing. We can't be like, well, I heard Chris only posts on at 3 p.m. on a Saturday, and so that's all I'm going to do too. And you can't do that. You have to test everything for you and your audience, and however the algorithm is going to hit your content. There is no one way. Could you imagine if we all just posted at 6 p.m. only, because we heard that was the only time to get traffic? It wouldn't work anymore. Right? So it's finding what works best for you and that process. There was something else I want to touch on that you shared, which is huge. And it's something I share on Decade in a Day as well, is controlling the overwhelm a little bit, identifying when it's happening, and taking some back. Yes, I think everyone should be on as many platforms as they can be on, with that caveat of can, without being so overwhelmed that you stop posting everywhere because it's too much. So I love that you identified early on, this is a lot for me. This is too much editing. This is just overwhelming. I'm going to focus on this one first. And then as you got better, as you gained more confidence, as you gained more knowledge and experience, it became easier to add another platform and another platform. And you build up slowly. You don't have to, like, out the gate show up everywhere online. I want everyone to understand that you don't have to. Find what is your sweet spot for you. And yes, 3 posts a day would be amazing. But if it's 2 and 3 absolutely drives you insane and brings too much overwhelm to your life where you want to quit, then go scale back to just doing 2. Find what the sweet spot is for each one of you listening. How often do you post, Chris?
I only post twice a day.
Twice a day?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I tried to post 3 times a day, and it was too much for me. So I decided I know 100% sure that I can post twice a day at these times. So I dedicated myself to those.
Mm-hmm.
If for some reason I find myself having extra time, I'll use like the royalty-free video strategy from Tools, and I'll create something off of B-roll.
Great.
And that'll be like my 3rd post in the middle of the day.
Mm-hmm.
It'll just be with trending sound and catchy hooks and call to actions and all that good stuff. But
Right.
twice a day is what I 100% dedicate myself to. There's been no waiver from that whatsoever.
And that's the key right there. It wasn't twice a day for someone else or on someone else's schedule. It's what works for your schedule so that you can stay consistent. There was somebody, Matthew posted, he posts once a day consistently. That's what he can do. That's what his schedule allows. And that's awesome. Whatever you can do every day, that's what you want, whether it's once, twice, 3 times. I know somebody we had on a few months ago said they did like 5 a day, which is wild. That's a ton of content. By no means do you have to do that. Find the sweet spot for you and your schedule so that you aren't missing days. I think that's what's more important. Don't miss days. Don't go a week without posting and then post like 4 on one day and then another week without posting. If you make 4 videos on a Sunday afternoon, spread them out and know you need to have another one after, on day 5 ready to roll. Whether it's 1, 2, or 3, find your sweet spot for your schedule. And that's awesome. And it doesn't matter specific times. Oh, you got to post at 6. Oh, you got to post at 10. Chris is posting. Well, my break is at 11:15. So that's when the post is, right?
That's pretty accurate, actually.
I totally just grabbed the time, but you know what I mean? This is when my break is. So this is when my first video is. This is when I'm off and I'm not working. This is when my second video is, or whatever that is. But it's making it a part of your daily life. And that's where habits are easier to build when we can do that, for sure.
You'll feel yourself get into like the swing of things when you're like, because you also like posting the reels are great on Instagram, but the platform wants to see you do other forms of engagement as well. So I'm making sure that, I have a certain amount of story posts throughout the day. Mm-hmm. My reels happen twice a day at the same times every day. So I started to it was like almost like a palpable switch where I was like, okay, I'm definitely in the groove of this thing right now, where I know when I'm posting stories, I know when I'm posting reels, and it's happening consistently every single day.
It just becomes like automatic almost, right?
When you're in that sort of groove and you're starting to see, people responding to your calls of action, and mm-hmm. your followers are, slowly making their way up, that's when you start to get like real comfortable, and you're like, I'm just gonna stay course.
Right.
and let's see what happens.
Right. And with Instagram, I call it, you can't post and ghost, especially with Instagram. You cannot just log on, post a video, and then peace out and never do anything else. You need to have stories. We always say try to have at least 6 a day, if not more, but get to at least 6. Go engage with other accounts. Show Instagram you're not a bot. You're a real person looking to build community on Instagram. Build that trust not only with your growing audience, but also with the platform itself, which is key and huge. So share with us, what is your Instagram story strategy? When do you post that? What do you post? What's typical that you add to your stories? That's important.
Well, since I'm up so early, I like to do a good morning to all my followers type post. And then I will do a couple of real share the stories. Okay. And since the algorithm knows what I'm doing on the platform, it always suggests to me motivational or inspirational in the finance world. So I'll share things like that with my followers. And then also just sharing like my normal life and letting people know that like I'm a real person out here. Like right. I really have a son that I spend a ton of time with, my family. I really go to the gym as much as I can, and I really go to work 4 days a week at least.
You show people in the stories. That's what's beautiful about stories, is you show the human side. Mm-hmm. It's not just all about marketing. It's not about teaching. It's just showing, this is my personality. This is my life. This is my day-to-day. This is what I love. This is what I hate. This is what I thought was pretty cool. And it's just showing you're human. Mm-hmm. It has nothing to do with what you may be promoting. It doesn't need to be. It can just be like, this is what I'm eating right now. Yeah. This is a pretty sweet snack I tried for the first time today, and take a picture of it.
Yeah. Sure. I'll share things like, even if me and my family are going on like an evening walk with the dog, then I'll share that. Normal things.
More normal people things. And that's what takes off in stories. But you have that mixed with your, more targeted strategy in your reels that's being posted to grid. And it's a beautiful synergy over time. And yes, that trust in a variety of ways is built. And that's what's key, is building the trust that you are not just a door-to-door online salesman. You're a human focused on building community, engagement, and a positive experience and environment for others that are also on platform.
Yep.
Which is really, really cool. So what was your advice? Sorry, you cut out on me, so I didn't hear you.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I think people in general are just like, you become a more believable person, because it's hard to believe anything you see on the internet. So it's like, if someone can see that you're doing something that they normally do or want to do, then it's like, like, maybe this guy is legit after all. That on top of like having like very like, I try to be as responsive as possible. And when I respond to people, I try to be as human as possible in my responses. So if people are to like ask me information questions or anything like that, I give them my personal honest opinion. Like, this is what I think, this is what I would do. And that's how I'm starting to like build connections with people across the world like that.
Yeah, it's building online friends and just having conversations. It's not trying to shove anything down somebody else's throat. It's not like, you got to do this. It doesn't feel icky. It doesn't feel salesy. It's just, here's information. Here's what's working for me. Check it out. See how you feel about it. I'm here to answer any questions. And then you can make an informed decision of what you want to do.
Yeah. One of the things I've really dedicated myself to is just making sure that like everything that comes out of my mouth, whether it's like in a reel or story or however, it's true and it's honest.
Right.
Like, everything I'm saying, like I will never tell somebody a lie. That, I mean, they're obviously, they're going to form their own opinions, right? And people are going to disagree and they're going to call you whatever. I can't control that. But as long as I know that I'm being honest and I'm telling them, my true results and my true opinions on everything, then I can live with that,
And ethical marketing will take you so much further in all things in life, outside of, not even in your business, but outside of your business, as a dad, as a partner. It's shocking sometimes how people choose to not market ethically. They choose, I'm going to market this product by bashing XYZ. I'm going to be negative. I'm going to make shit up. I'm going to blow things out of proportion. I'm going to create a new narrative just so I can promote this. But man, to always show up negatively or to be lying, to stretch the truth, that gets heavy after a while. You can't sustain that. And we're talking about learning skills to build a long-lasting business. And if you start now building a business that you can be proud of, that is helping others, that's ethical, that makes you feel joy, that's what's going to sustain. That's what's going to outlast everybody else. When you can be in that place. And it's just more fun to show up every day and make 2 to 3 videos a day, when it's a place of enjoyment instead of a place of, what can I talk badly or negatively, or, today, how can I be drama today? And it might get you views in the short term, and that's what feeds those people. Like, how do I be drama today? But in 2 months, 3 months, that's not a business anybody wants to keep following or be a part of. They want to be a part of someone like what you're representing right now, is ethical, honest. You're not pushy. You're showing your personality. You're allowing people to get to know you, to trust you. And you hold that relationship that you're building to a high standard.
Yep. Yeah.
And that's huge.
People who are kind of like stained in the space because they'll ask somebody, specific information and kind of get a runaround, or they'll ask somebody something and they won't get a response at all. So then when I finally just tell them, like, when I lay it all out for them, like, here's the truth, and then like, thank you so much. Because they're like, I've asked, 5 people and I haven't gotten an honest answer.
Yeah, there's nothing to lie about. There's nothing to hide. It's just information, and you're the one sharing information. So give it to your audience. It's all good.
One of the reasons that I find, this so enjoyable is because I do get to be myself. Like I don't post anything that's like not me or that I don't want to post. Like if there's a type of reel that's trending, but I don't think I'll be able to do it well with like my personality, then I won't do it. Like it works for them. I don't think it's going to work for me. And if it does, I won't like it. So I'm just going to skip over that one. I'm going to let that trend sail away and wait for the next one.
That's right. I love that. Let it sail away. And some of the trends are sailing. But that's really important, because if you're trying to show up as someone else, if you're trying to be an actor, this is the image I have to be online. This is the person I have to show up as. It gets hard. And your audience can like see it, smell it. They know it's not real. They can tell it's not authentic. And then your messaging starts going all over the place, because suddenly you have a video where you're a little more relaxed and it's your personality. And then you go back to being an actor and people are like, who is this person? Yesterday she was this way and presented herself in this manner, and today it's something different. And then they don't trust you. They want to see consistency. They want to know who they're getting to know online. And the easiest way to do it is, here I am. This is me, my wild, crazy, weird self. And if you're all about it, awesome. Let's be online friends. I'm here to help you out. If it's not, you're not all about me, there is someone else that is. Go find your people. And your people will also find you when you just put it out there. And what an amazing release to be like, I don't have to pretend to be anyone. I get to sit here in my house, in my truck, at my office, film content that is just me, that I feel good about, and your people will come. Mm-hmm. Which is sweet. Yeah. So leaving you with the last word, because I know you're at work and I don't want you to take up your entire time off right now. But leaving you with the last word, what is your advice to anyone in the challenge? So they have the challenge, they're in it, they're feeling the overwhelm, they're feeling that I don't know what to do, I don't know where this is going to take me. The worry is there. What's your advice for that person?
If they're in the challenge,
mm-hmm.
Ooh, that's tough. That's a tough spot to be in. I mean, I've been doing a lot of like counter thinking, if that makes sense. I'll make it make sense, I guess, where I'm thinking about how something is currently and then how something would be if it were the exact opposite, right? And so I've been thinking like, okay, so what if I never did this? Like what other options would I have had, Mm-hmm. How would I have been at this point if I had never taken the chance on myself? And having those thoughts of thinking about like what would happen if the exact opposite takes place has been pushing me a little further in my mind.
Yeah, it's
easier for me to speak about when I have the thoughts in the moment,
right?
Like the what if I never, or what if I did. Mm-hmm. But I have those thoughts about like, so right now, like a big thought of mine is, would I have been able to ever purchase a house in California had I never started this business? Like what's that route look like for me?
Right.
Working at my 9 to 5 and praying for a certain amount of raises and bonuses throughout the years, and hoping the economy gets better and So for me, like this was the best decision, you know, because the opposite of this decision is I'm in the same exact spot that I was.
Yeah. And then asking, are you okay with that?
Yeah. Am I ever being able to
Mhm.
purchase a family to live and grow up in?
Right. And not even asking, am I okay with it? Embracing that you chose that path, right? You chose to stay stuck. When you choose not to do A and instead are choosing, I'm going to just stick with what I'm doing right now, even though I'm not happy, I'm not fulfilled, it's not going to take me anywhere. You just chose it. That was your choice.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that choice, that you're choosing that path for yourself? And if you're not okay with that, make a new choice,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
That is beautiful advice. I love it. And you need to come back, Chris. I want updates in a couple months. You need to meet Dave. I know he would love to sit down and chat with you as well. But this has just been a really real, engaging, authentic conversation on a beautiful Thursday morning. And I appreciate your time today for sure.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, my pleasure. All right, everyone. That was a pretty solid interview. You definitely need to go back. There were a ton of golden nuggets dropped in there to help with mindset, your content, getting started, overcoming roadblocks, overcoming what we like to call the valley of despair when things feel slow for a month, 2 months, a few months longer. How do you keep pushing through that? How do you show up to your business consistently? All of that was talked about in today's episode. So if you missed any of that, please go back, watch the beginning, and then also give Chris a follow. Go find him on Instagram at Chris_affiliated. Okay, Chris_affiliated. ED at the end, affiliated. So tomorrow we are live from Mastermind during Wake Up Legendary. Ron Landa, I love that you're on here. It's nice to see you, old friend. Check your email. I responded to you. And tomorrow we are live from Mastermind, everyone. Have a fantastic Thursday, and I cannot wait to see everyone on tomorrow. Have a great day. We will talk soon. Peace.